We are
on our way to Mexico.
That's the most energy I've seen in the last 30 minutes. Somebody
fighting with off of 1 hour of sleep, so
we are headed to Cancun and then to Playa del Carmen for our site visit. So let's see. It's a vacation for us too. So.
Little mini vacay. Dang, you gotta hold the camera up such a high angle to get me in there. Hi. Hello.
Okay, so headed through DIA, headed to the gate. It's about a 4-hour flight from Denver to Cancun, and we actually flew direct. Also,
broke nigga alert.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are back on Frontier, but it was all right. We had an extra row seat, so legroom wasn't too bad. You know, I'm pretty tall, so plain legroom's pretty bad for me, but made it on the flight. It was a smooth flight, nothing crazy. Landed in Cancun, and we're preparing for the site visit. The resort itself is about 45 minutes from the airport. The resort's in Playa del Carmen, but we landed in Cancun, so had to jump on a shuttle.
Oh, you live here?
Yeah. That's 3 hours out of 4.
Oh.
The driver was super cool. He kind of gave us a little bit of background on the area, let us know kind of the do's and don'ts, as well as this is like a known travel and transportation company, so we didn't have to worry about getting like a taxi or getting played by anybody with like rates or anything like that, so it was pretty good. Pulling into the resort, we really didn't know what to expect. We had never been to this resort before. We had only seen pictures online and heard from our travel agent, but we were actually pleasantly surprised. The lobby was very nice. All of the staff was very respectful. Once we pulled up, they took our bags and guided us to the check-in counter. Check-in was smooth. We actually got a discounted room rate because we're getting married at the resort, and we got upgraded. So all in all, pretty good. Once we finished check-in, we kind of toured around the lobby a little bit more. There was a bunch of free beverages, free snacks, things like that. This was some kind of like refreshing drink. I have no clue what it was. It looked like mouthwash to me, to be honest, but it was cool. I tried it. Wasn't great. The highlight of the lobby is definitely this big bar here. They had about 4 or 5 bartenders staffing it, so you could get a drink pretty quickly and start drinking as soon as you check into the resort. I'm not gonna lie, after check-in, we got super excited and started getting ready, unpacking, whatever. So I didn't get to film the room when we first walked in, but here it is. All the rooms are very spacious. They're probably twice the size of a normal hotel room. They have a king-size bed, and every room has a balcony. There are some rooms on the first floor that also have access to their own private swimming pool. They're called swim-up rooms, and you can see them here. This swimming pool right in front of our building is access for the swim-up rooms. So this is our building from the outside. You can see the private pool for the swim-up rooms. The building we stayed in is actually called El Beso. It's an adult-only building, so anybody who wants to come to the resort and doesn't want to be surrounded by families with kids and just wants kind of like a secluded couples vacation, things like that, this was the perfect thing. It had like greenery blocking off the rest of the resort from this section, so pretty cool. Outside of all the buildings, including the El Beso, is some hammocks, as you can see here. These are pretty heavy-duty hammocks. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised. I'm a big dude, and I cannot say that I've ever really gotten into a hammock before out of fear that it's gonna snap. But I got into one of these, no problem at all. It was sturdy. These are definitely one of the many chill places to relax around the resort.
I feel like I'm in Avatar.
What the hell? Oh my God!
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never been in a hammock before, so this is the first for me. Say something. Hammock Talk. That's our new series. Whose wife is this?
There is clearly a hater amongst us.
Yes, everybody welcome my fiance. She has joined us for the commentary.
Oh, okay. Golden hour, I see you. Anyway, this is us riding on the tram that is on property. This tram will take you all the way from the top of the hotel to the bottom. So from the lobby area all the way right up to the beach. It's super convenient because they run pretty much all day. As it gets later in the evening, they definitely have less frequent trams running, but it's easily accessible. And if you're not trying to walk anywhere, this is the way to go.
So this is us taking the tram down to the beach after we finish checking in and changing in the room. It was a pretty beautiful day, and actually we're having our reception right off the beach here, so we wanted to see what this area looked like.
The sand was so soft.
And yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful area. The water was very clear. This is a pool right here, right outside of the beach itself, so it's pretty nice.
It was a perfect day.
After we went down to the beach, we kind of realized we hadn't eaten anything since we landed, so we started looking around.
I was starving.
We started looking around the resort for something to eat, and we actually found out a lot of stuff is not open, like between the hours of 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Most of the restaurants closed, so they had a little coffee shop on site.
They always have something available. It may not be something that has all the options that you're looking for, or, you know, the buffet only has certain hours. There's always access to food, but some of the main restaurants are not available during those certain hours. So, like you said, we hopped over to this little coffee shop, and it was not all that great. It was just like danishes and, you know, like sandwiches and coffee and stuff. But for our first meal, we were not excited, and we were hopeful that this wasn't how the food would be the rest of our stay. And we were pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. But this place was not great.
We haven't even had any food to really know.
The food's not bad.
We only had this.
It's not bad.
Baby, literally, this is all we had. That is not count.
Then we decided it was time for us to go take a dip in the pool outside of our building. This is the El Beso pool. My favorite part about these pools is the fact that they all have a swim up bar as a part of them. So you do not have to get out the water to go get your drinks. You literally just pull up to the swim up bar, have your drink, and then go enjoy yourself. The pools are not heated, but it's a perfect temperature. As soon as you get in there, you get a little chill, but eventually you acclimate to it, and it's just an all-around good time.
As you can see too on the right side, all this like greenery actually blocks the El Beso pool from the rest of the resort too, so you really feel secluded. It's definitely quiet, and there's even like adult specific activities that they do in this pool. So we pretty much spent the rest of our afternoon here having drinks, relaxing, enjoying our vacation, and reflecting on what we thought of the resort so far, and making plans for the next day when we meet with the wedding coordinator and go through all of what we came here for the wedding.
When you first check into the hotel, they will tell you about the app that they have. You download it onto your phone, and it literally shows you all the different activities that they have throughout the day and the times and location, and there's like a virtual map that will show you where they're being held. So it's really helpful in figuring out your day.
I just want some food. It's exactly what I said here. So this is actually us waiting for the buffet. This is our first time in here. You can see it was a pretty big dining area. Tables were nice. The buffet is what you would expect from an all-inclusive resort. Nothing spectacular. Damn, this dude was close. But it was pretty good, and most of the better stuff was like the made-to-order stuff. So they had like a wok. They had burgers. For breakfast, they had omelets and pancakes, things like that. Anything made to order was really good, so I suggest to stick to that. But also the salad bar, the fresh fruit, a lot of stuff like that was great. So a lot of options here. You don't have to stick to the regular old country buffet, Golden Corral food. After we left there, they actually had this little taco stand set up. It was kind of ducked off. That's why you don't see many people here. And these tacos were really good. I wish we would have stopped here before we went to the buffet, because I would have had like 4 or 5 of these instead of eating what we had at the buffet. But it was cool. They had a nice little ambiance set up, tiki torches, everything like that. Really nice little area. So we really spent the rest of the evening touring everything we hadn't seen and kind of seeing what the vibe is like as it gets dark. You can see here all the little ambient pools. They had lights in them. It was pretty cool. This is like the little shopping promenade that had the stores. This is a row of restaurants. These are like the sit-down restaurants that you need to make reservations for. So if you don't want to eat at the buffet, you never have to. There's always the sit-down restaurants, which is pretty nice. We're looking forward to that for our guests. They also had a lot of like activities and things. Like there was a bowling alley. Inside of here was a movie theater as well. Air hockey, pool tables. And upstairs in this building, there also was like a little sports bar / nightclub. So really cool, lots of stuff to do. We ended the night at a fire show that they had.
Force that we all need for for soul survival. Fire is the energy that enables.
That pretty much wrapped up night one. We had a couple drinks and just hung out a little bit and then went to bed. We were pretty tired from traveling and everything. So next morning, we got up pretty early and went to the gym. They actually had a pretty well-stocked gym. Like, you can get a very good workout in here, no matter what kind of workouts you're trying to do. Lots of machines for different body parts. So we did a quick chest and back workout before kind of going outside and looking at things like the tennis courts, the basketball courts. They had batting cages, anything you want to do as far as outdoor activities. That's a bucket. You know, I hit that. And then we spent a little bit playing tennis. Neither one of us played tennis, as you can see. But that was pretty much it. And at this point, we finally met up with the wedding coordinator. So to be honest, it actually started off pretty rocky. The wedding coordinator was pretty rude to start with. It seemed like he was kind of dismissive of us. He was on his phone most of the time we were walking. And maybe it was just a cultural thing, or maybe he had other weddings going on, but who knows? We kind of got past that. This is a view from the rooftop where we're actually going to do the ceremony. And this is the area where we're going to have the reception. So by this time, the coordinator had warmed up. He actually ended up being pretty decent. So after touring all the venues and locations where we're actually going to have the ceremony, the reception, and all of those things, we actually got to go back to the dining room when it was closed and do a tasting for all the options we had for our wedding menu. So we got to try all the appetizers, all the main courses. They gave us champagne. It was overall a really great experience, and we're really glad we came. We found out too that actually a lot of people don't do site visits when they have destination weddings, which is kind of crazy to me because you don't know what you're getting into, you don't know what the food is going to be like. So, but hey, whatever works for you. So that pretty much wrapped up everything for us. We only stayed for 2 days, so it was a quick in and out trip, but we got to experience the entire resort. We got to see all the venues for our wedding. We got to try all the food options and select things we wanted, as well as nail down like some of the specifics we wanted once we saw how the venues actually looked and how things were actually going to be in real life. So definitely worth the trip. And we are looking forward to sharing the rest of this experience with you all. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and look forward to the next video.